Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show, hosted by gospel music industry veteran, recording artist, songwriter, producer, radio announcer, and actor, Carl B. Phillips. Join Carl as he talks with gospel recording artists, producers, songwriters, pastors, and other creatives about music, ministry, and life. Get ready for another great conversation on the Carl B. Phillips Show.
This week's guest on the Carl B. Phillips Show, producer, musician, songwriter, and gospel recording artist, Gregory G. Pearson. Welcome to the Carl B. Phillips Show. I am Carl B. Phillips. Today's guest, he is a repeat visitor to the Carl B. Phillips Show. Yes, this is his second time, and I'm so excited to have him with me. He's a producer, musician, songwriter. He is the owner of Inner Court Music Group, co-owner of the entertainment venue, The Mag, and he's a gospel recording artist, and he's going to sing something tonight. Please help me welcome my big brother, Gregory G. Singing Pearson.
Brother, Carl, let me tell you that when you introduced yourself and said, I'm Carl B. Phillips, I started to say, and I'm Greg Pearson.
Well, we did that for quite a while in the studio.
Right.
Inner Court Live, that was our YouTube show. But then somebody just left me, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay. I sing because.
Keep it going. I told you going to sing. Don't start and don't finish. Go and sing the rest of it.
All right. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Yeah.
We're gonna get you in the studio. Yeah. Uh-oh, you and Kojic. Yes. Yeah. All right. First random question. What did you use to listen to music as a kid? Was it a 78, a 45, or 8-track?
God, I can't believe you said 78. Oh my God. I'm disowning you. I listened to LPs. Of course, they were 33s, and then we had the 45s for the singles. And I remember 8-tracks coming out, and I had one of them combination things where you play the records, radio, and 8-track slide. So I started out with the 8-tracks before we went to cassettes.
As a child, do you remember taking your cassette player and recording stuff off the radio?
Yes.
We thought we were doing something.
Yeah, Robert Grant used to come on late at night, and I used to wake up in the middle of the night so I could listen to his show, especially when he would fall asleep.
When I started in radio, Greg, I had an overnight shift, and I love them 12 and 13-minute songs.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got a break. Mississippi Mass, 12 minutes. Yes. Near the cross. I can go to the store. I can do anything. In my research, I discovered that Gregory G. Pearson worked in the Detroit public schools for almost 30 years. What were some of the areas you worked in during your time with the Detroit Board of Education?
I started out as an accompanist. I played for the vocal classes and the dance classes. I did that for maybe about 10 years, and then I went into other areas, administrative areas. And I would say the rest of my tenure there, I did student information. I was in charge of scheduling for the school. I worked at Southeastern High School, so I was in charge of scheduling all the students and the teachers. And then it's mighty funny that my very last year before I retired, I went back in the classroom doing music.
Wow. So after 30 years in the school system, you retired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How has retirement been for you?
I love it. It's been 12 years now. I retired in 2013.
Hmm.
And I remember that June when I retired, and I just knew I was free. And when that next semester started for the next school year, I just kind of felt lost. I'm supposed to be at school after 30 years, and all of a sudden, I don't have a school to go to.
Well, you could have started your own school
I
and had
could have.
students, and you know.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed retirement. Because I was able to put uh, my whole self into my music production and running Intercourt.
So now that you've retired, you've also become a snowbird. Summers in Michigan and winters in the South. How has the adjustment been living in a warmer climate?
It's been wonderful, especially after this past winter. I don't think I came up there at all this past winter. I know my wife came up for a couple of weeks. Uh, Maybe I did. I think I did come up, but with the time that I did come up, it wasn't bad. But it's been nice to, even though we didn't have that great of a winter down in the Jacksonville area, because Carl, you came down and you still had to wear a coat.
Like I go to Florida and still got to put a coat on.
It wasn't a good winter. And usually winters aren't like that. It'll get maybe 50s or something like that, but that's the
Mm.
extent of it. Um, the only thing I really don't like, and it's still taking an adjustment, is the summers down here. It's really hot and humid, 90s and stuff like that. When you get a nice Detroit summer where it's 70s, 80s and a nice breeze. I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and it just felt good. I said, this is Detroit weather. But, I'm adjusting.
What are some of the things you and your wife Donna enjoy doing while living in the South?
Oh, going to the beach, and
You
going
out
to
there showing out your beach body?
no, it's not a beach body yet. I'm gonna work on it.
You've had
It's
all winter. You
more,
should be in shape now.
I don't know what kind of body it is, but it definitely isn't a beach body. Yeah, we just to be able to go and just sit by the water, something mesmerizing, about sitting at the water and hearing the waves and seeing them. Uh, it's very therapeutic.
You've also have a new family member.
Yeah, yeah. My wife had a child. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. She had that in 5 months because I was just there in December. She wasn't even showing. She
We
hid that.
work fast. We work fast around here. Where's Coco? Come here. Come here. Let me show you. I mean, he's ready too.
Camera ready.
And I try not to make him scream.
Oh, you're a pet parent.
It's Coco.
Hi,
Say
Coco.
hi. We just got him maybe about two weeks ago. Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks that we've had him. He's 4 years old, a mini golden doodle. That's what they call him.
Oh, so you get to go out and take him for walks and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, between me and the wife, we take him out. I'll take him to the dog park and let him, get his exercise and stuff like that. He can catch a ball in midair. And he's just talented.
When do you run with him while you're out?
No, no, no running.
No
I
running.
let the dog run and I just wait until he comes back.
I'm running for my life.
That's why I don't have the beach body.
The dog running. You run and catch the ball and come back and I'll throw it again.
Right, right. Bring it back.
In this season of your life, how do you define success and happiness?
Uh, Success and happiness is having the right partner in your life.
Mm.
God blessed me to have a wonderful wife, and that we both are on the same page. We walk as one, um, and that makes life happy. I keep her happy. She keeps me happy. Happy wife, happy life, as they say. And being successful is, you know, acknowledging the God in your life, letting Him direct your path.
Mm.
Because if you do that, He's He's going to make your pathway right.
A lot of times, creatives, musicians struggle in relationships. What advice would you give to a young person that's, say, newly married, that's a musician, that's constantly busy doing things musically? What advice at this point in your life how would you mentor that young musician that's newly married into how to make sure they have a successful marriage?
Well, it's having the right balance in your life
Mm.
between work and your music career, which is work also. But well, I should say between work, which is your music life, and your home life. Not being so busy, not necessarily chasing after the dollar, but being so busy in putting yourself into your music that
Mm.
you forget that you have a life outside of the studio. And I did have to learn that I can't be at the studio every day, and then weekends, and I be at church and this wedding anniversary going on, but I got to be at rehearsal, or I got a session, birthday come around, and I got something else to do musically. It's you have to balance that life,
Mm.
and if you don't, it's not going to work.
So you mentioned you had to learn that. What was the aha moment for you that I need to shift?
Um, I guess one of the aha moments was with my son. I think at first I wasn't spending enough time. He'd have his games, and I had other things to do, and I just realized I'm not living a good life. I'm not presenting myself as a good father
Mm.
and as a good husband. So that's when I had to make that change.
So I think you bring up a good point, Greg, because we talked about marriage, but now you're talking family when you have kids. Again, back to the mentor question. What would you say to someone that's married with kids about balance? That's a musician.
Uh, you only get them, you only get to watch them grow up one time. Um, um, you you'll look back after they're older and like, oh God, I missed so much of them growing up. And that's to me, the best part of being a parent
Mm.
is instilling the right virtues and values in your child, and watch them grow into something that you can be proud of.
So you mentioned your son G. Talk about the relationship you and G have now.
Oh, we have a wonderful relationship. I truly miss him because he's still up in Detroit. I try to talk to him at least once, twice a week, and to find out what's going on in his life. And sometimes he has these crazy changes that he's going through, and I gotta kind of just talk to him and and I try not to ever discourage him for what he wants to do, the things
Mm.
that he wants to do. But I try to, just kind of guide his pathway without being obtrusive. Um, but I love the relationship. He's 33 now, and he still he still looks to me for advice and guidance.
So you mentioned you're in Jacksonville. How was church life in Jacksonville for you compared to Detroit?
It's different.
Okay,
It's different.
I thought your mic wasn't on anymore.
Yeah, I mean, church is church. And I believe I play for St. Paul AME, which is I love their service. The pastor is a young guy. He's in his 30s, and he's very energetic. He's into the youth, him and his wife. Um, and you know, it's a church that I'm going to go under for watch care. Um, but when Detroit is a whole different animal to me. There is, I'm trying to frame my words carefully because I don't want people in Jacksonville to think, oh, he don't like our church. Uh, but I mean, we grew up in Detroit, and we know how that Detroit feel is, and it's just incomparable to how how it feels in other towns.
I
That's
was
all I have to say
I
on
was
the
talking
matter.
to Fred Hammond. I was doing an interview with him one time, and he talked about how Detroit has the factory mentality, that constant drive. And a
Hmm.
lot of other places, it's just kind of chill, kind of laid back. But with us, you hit the stage, we're hitting hard. We like take no prisoners. We going for it.
Right.
But I've gone to other places where, I mean, it's good, but they ain't hitting hard like Detroit.
No, no, and that is a good analogy that Fred came up with. Yeah, we drive where everybody else is kind of laid back and everything.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about Inner Court Music Group. Go back a little bit and kind of talk about your vision behind Inner Court. I know we probably talked about it last time, but I'm going to talk about it again. Talk about your vision behind Inner Court and why you decided to do this, over 20 years ago.
Um, and I believe it's been about 30 something years now, about 35, 36 years that we've been in business. And it started with myself and my brother Kurt. Um, and we wanted to be able to produce other people, artists, um, and make a difference in someone's music career.
Mm,
Uh, we're Kurt and I aren't front people. We're more behind the scenes, push them and produce them and put the music together and then push them out there to perform. And that's why me doing what I'm doing, what I've been doing for the last few years is just so foreign, um, because it was never in my intent to push myself, but to be a vehicle for someone else who want their music ministry to flourish and grow. And that was the bottom line.
you said it's been over 30 years. Over these past 30 years, how has the music scene, how have you seen it change from when you started to where the music scene is now? Talk about some of those changes you've seen. Besides, was it the DAT machine or ADAT? Along with the A train?
Well, right. Well, I mean, music t technology has changed the whole industry, where everything is pretty much digital now. Um, and sometimes you don't know whether it's live or if it's Memorex, as the old saying used to go.
Hmm.
Um, but in terms of the styles of music, I don't know if you were going that way. Um, I was, I want to say this, and I don't want to be offensive. I was listening to Sirius XM a couple of weeks ago on a Saturday, because usually Saturday is music day for me and the wife. We turn on a particular artist and we just let them kind of play all day. But we were listening to Sirius XM, and I actually, after a while, I had to turn it off because the music wasn't, to me, wasn't, and I wouldn't shouldn't say all of it, but the majority of the music wasn't godly inspiring to me.
Hmm.
It was like they were playing it or doing it for self-grandizement, and to uh, not to honor God, or and I and I really hate that. And I want my music, when people hear my music, to say that that's gospel music,
Hmm.
and not have to wonder uh, what genre it is. So to me, music has changed a whole lot, where it's just the gospel aspect of it, like like we had with Donald Lawrence and the Hawkins and Andre Crouch and Thomas Whitfield, the Thompson Community Choir, all of them, you know, that churchy gospel sound that was unmistakable. Um, so, like I said, I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody who likes that, because I like listening to it also to a certain extent. But when I want to listen to gospel, I want to listen to gospel.
You want that? Say, say about his divine. Say,
There you go.
um, AI. Do you think that AI will eventually start becoming a part of gospel music?
Uh, I really believe that is part of it now, to a certain extent. I know I use AI for demoing vocals and stuff like that. If I until I get my real singers in the studio. And sometimes, um, I use it to supplement the live singers on some projects that I've been working on.
Hmm.
Um, but AI is, to me, is here to stay, and it's going to become more integrated in everything that we do. Whether it's the vocals, whether, and some people might be using it to write lyrics for their songs, or even write the songs themselves, which, what I understand, AI can do all of that. Just, I guess, you tell it, give it a certain ideal and theme, and it comes up with something. So, but, I feel like it should come from our hearts.
Mhm.
And AI can't do that.
Well, I think both of us are songwriters that are inspired to write. And with AI, there's no testimony. It's just
No,
a machine went out and just gathered some information and came up with something.
right,
I used to kind of joke with musicians when I would talk to them, because they would say, "Man, I got this hot beat. Let me find some lyrics." To me, you're not coming from the heart, and I think music that comes from the heart reaches the heart.
right,
You know, you can create something, but it may not reach people because a computer generated. And I'm saying it in a bad way, but I just think we have to be cautious um, with
to
with
what
things
extent?
gospel.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
what extent we're using it.
yeah, Yeah,
Um,
like you said,
because
create
it,
lyrics and all that. I don't know.
mhm. Yeah, because all of that should be from the heart. It
Yeah.
should be your testimony or what God has inspired in you to write. And if it's something that you're just doing it um, just to come up with a hit or whatever your intentions are, um, if God's not in it, shame on you.
And you can have a hit with a testimony. I mean, Andre did it. The Hawkins did it. Thomas.
Hmm.
But back in the day, they wrote songs that were a testimony. I always tell people, write what you're going through, write about your life, write about what you're experiencing. It may be painful, but it can be therapeutic. That you can get your story out about what it is that you're going through via music. You talked earlier about moving into being a recording artist. Since we last talked, you released several videos. Talk about your process for planning video shoots and what it's been like working with Ant Green on your videos.
It's been really great. Ant is a very creative person, and he was more of a filmmaker. So his foray into doing music videos, I think I was one of the first ones that he did a
Mm,
music video for. Um, Usually what I do is I shoot Anthony a ideal of what I want to do,
mm.
and he starts using his creative process to make it happen. And we've been very blessed to have won several film festival awards for both Dwell in the House and Never Turn Back.
I did find that you were nominated for the Las Vegas Black Film Festival for Never Turn Back, International Black Diversity Film Festival in Toronto. And again, you also were nominated for and won awards for that video along with Dwell in the House. How did it feel to have your video recognized in film festivals?
It was really great because to me that was just a new area for me.
Mm,
Just doing the music was one thing, but to get into the video aspect of it, and then for it to be award winning, it was just, I mean, it was just phenomenal to know that, that we were recognized like that.
So I have to say that I am, as a friend and brother, proud of you as I've watched you grow from your first single with Your Deliverance and couldn't get you to say nothing. And now, you dancing in videos, that fun stuff. But I'm still praying we're going to get you out to perform in the future, Lord Jesus, right now. We're believing you, God.
No, please don't, Carl. I know it's going to eventually have to happen, but I'm fighting it to my, tooth and toenail.
Well, you fought being a recording artist. You fought talking on recordings. You fought, your place in the videos, but you overcame. Look how God
Yeah,
brought you.
you're right.
Look what the Lord done for you.
I,
God
it
has not given you the spirit of fear, Greg.
not at all. I just, it was just nothing that I just wanted to put some music out and just leave my footprint, in life. Let people know that Greg Pearson lived here for, his appointed time, and that's all. That was all in my mind because I remember telling Bruce Knight, who's my radio person, I don't care who don't want to play it, whatever, blah blah blah, being very defensive about things, but uh, through your mentoring, Carl, you made me see the light. So I follow your example, Carl.
It kind of goes back to the question I asked before about defining success and happiness. And I think a lot of times when you move into the recording field, you have to move into that with a purpose in mind of how you want to define your success and happiness. And what I hear you say now, that you found success and you found happiness with just putting out music.
Yes, yes, I love it. And I said to Donna, I said, well, because I have a full project that I'm planning on releasing this year, probably third or fourth quarter. And I said, hey, this is all I'll do. I'm not. And she had to rebuke me. She said, no, don't ever put that out there like that. That's all you're going to do. You don't know what God has in store for you for other
Right.
things. I quickly repented for.
But, Greg, we kind of talked about this ourselves. We're not spring chickens,
No.
and the industry is constantly changing. Where do you feel people that I call it the AARP generation, where do you think that we fit into the gospel music recording industry? Is it just legacy that we're doing this? In your mind, like if somebody over 50 comes, you say, hey, Greg, I want to do a recording. What do you tell that person about the recording industry and what the expectations are now that you've been out there as an artist?
Well, when I produce people, I do let them know what to expect from the industry and the things that they have to go through to be able to be successful, no matter how small that success is or how big that success is. Um, and I don't think age really plays a factor in it.
Mm,
I mean, you look at uh, Shirley Caesar, who's still very uh, popular and still relevant.
mm,
And there's other gospel artists that are just still. I mean, the Clark sisters, they're in their 60s, and they're still out there doing it. They're still
mm.
relevant. So uh, God has blessed this generation of artists who are in their 50s, 60s, or 70s to be able to still be relevant and still be able to mentor the the generation behind us that's coming up.
Let's talk a little bit more about Greg Pearson's music. You have a new single out. I sang a little of it before. I didn't realize I knew it that well. I'm Saved, featuring Peggy James. What is
Yes.
what is the inspiration for writing the song?
Um, well, number one, I recorded this originally for Greater Grace Temple on our Grace and Praise project, and Dorinda Clark Cole led it then. And for some reason, I wanted to do it again.
Mm,
Um, and what really inspired that song was this from the congregational, I'm saved, so I'm gonna sing again. Saved by his power divine, saved to new life sublime. My life now is great and my joy is complete. I think I said the wrong words. Because I'm saved, saved, saved. And to be in our conventions and you see 10,000 people, when they get to the save, 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 they got a hanky or a fan in their hand, and it's just like, man. And so that song has always blessed me.
mm.
And so I just wanted to write a derivative of that song. And that's what God gave me.
This song again features Peggy James, a great Detroit singer. What did it mean to you when she agreed to be on the song?
I was really ecstatic. My first take was to get Dorinda to do it again. And I did talk to her, and she wanted to do it again, but she was preparing for her release of her project, which I think just came out recently. So because she was signed to a label, she wasn't able to do it. So, it's just like God just brought Peggy to mind because Peggy sung on my Christmas medley. And so I just wanted to do something else with Peggy. Peggy is just a tremendous and anointed talent, and she just wore it out. And so the way it came out is what she did.
So how do you produce a singer like Peggy James? How do you get her to give you what you hear in your head?
Well, me, I'm the kind of producer, um, I want to feel what's in your heart.
Mm,
So I let whatever God has instilled in you, after I give you the song and says, okay, this is what I want, but I want to feel you. I want, uh, and so otherwise, I'm just doing, I guess, a carbon copy of myself or something.
mm.
Um, and I feel like I should let a singer put their heart into it. I want to feel, it's just like what I did with Lena Stark's on Never Turn Back. That girl came in the studio and just wore us all out. We was laying prostrate on the floor from her. So and Peggy gave us that same feeling. She just went in the studio and she just, we went through it maybe about 4 or 5 times, uh, and and she just let us have it. And and I think that's the way it should be. I sh as a producer, it's my it's my job to bring out the best in that person and not necessarily let them just do me note by note, you know.
Tell Donna I said hi. She keep poking her head in. She's like, oops.
Right. She's up here. She's up here working. She got her computer screens up and her laptop and everything. So
What she think this is? Not the Adams family. Yeah, the Adams family. We see the hand.
Yeah, we're in West Palm Beach right now. Um, and I'm here because I have a young lady that wants to do a project. And so we came down here to and my brother Kurt's down here, and we're just gonna kind of work with her to see what music is best for her and get a good feel for her ministry while we're here.
West Palm Beach, beautiful place to hang out.
Yes.
Beautiful place. You talked earlier that you're working on releasing a full project, pulling everything together that you've done over the past few years. What can we expect from this full project?
Um, I think on this, it's songs that I've written for other people, and also some songs that I co-wrote with different clients, and it features like Eric Dion, Darius Twyman is on the reprise of Never Turn Back, Rosa Warner Jones, uh, Pastor Kim Butler, um, and uh, I just got finished talking with Steve Anderson. He's gonna. I have a spot for him. I'm doing a remake of Your Deliverance,
Okay.
and it's gonna be with a house beat, and so I felt the most sinful person I could get was Stephen.
The most what person?
Sinful person.
My brother is not sinful. He's always sober, thank the Lord. He's sober. He's sober in the Lord.
So I called him up and I said, "Hey, I'm doing a remix on Your Deliverance. It's got a house beat and everything." And he said, "So you thought I was the most vile person you could call to do this song?" I said,
That sounds like
"Yeah,
Steve.
you're right."
That sounds just like Steve.
But I'm really proud of this project and the variations of songs that's on there, and I hope that people will be blessed by the ministry that's going forth on this project.
And we're praying that we'll get to see Greg perform live, God, before you come back, Jesus. We pray that, God, that Greg will sit at an organ with some singers and play. He did it in his video, God, so we know he can do it.
The Bible said don't pray and miss. Okay.
It also say pray without ceasing. When
Yeah,
I
it did
pray,
say
God hears
that.
my prayers. I'm going to see it before I see it, as Bishop Shear says.
Right, so I guess maybe I'll do one of them Twinkie things, and I'll sit on the organ and and let the folks sing.
Yeah, Greg, we going to pray that be in your future. I may have to persuade Donna to cook you something that'll get you out there. And like, well, Greg, when you finish, I'm going to have something waiting for you, and I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah, leave it alone. She's very persuasive.
Yeah, so she already done told you you're going to do more music. So let me call my sister. Like, Greg needs to perform live.
Mm. Well,
Mm,
I'm planning on working on that. Like I said earlier, I know it's inevitable, so I'm trying to put a plan in my head, so Charles, I have to have you as a part of it. So you'll probably have to be directing and pushing and everything.
yeah, be like, Greg, go over there and play. Show up for rehearsal.
And right. And I have to say, Carl, that I really appreciate all that you've done for me and how you pushed me into doing things and for being a part of everything that pretty much that I've been doing. And I appreciate that very much. Carl, actually, for those who don't know, on the Never Turn Back video, Carl was the coordinator for the video. So he did a wonderful job.
Greg, I'm grateful that um, you have been a part of my life, uh, calling me to do things that I didn't think I could do books. Even when I got ready to record, you were the one like, bring me some money, Negro. so, so I'm grateful that you pushed me. I'm grateful that I'm able to push you, but most of all, I'm grateful for the brotherhood that we've had. These past 10 years, you have proven yourself to be a great brother, and I thank you for that.
Likewise, man. Likewise. Let's probably get some tissue. I feel like crying right now.
This interview, as one of my friends would say, it got real mushy real quick.
Right, real quick.
But Greg, honestly, man, I'm at a place in life now that I feel it's important to let people know how you feel about them.
Yeah,
You know,
of
the city
course.
of Detroit, we've gone through some things recently and lost some very talented people. Um, so to me, it's just important. Let people know this is how I feel, and don't be
Yeah,
ashamed to tell people how you feel.
right. I have a new category for friends, and I call it my forever friends.
Mm-hmm.
And those are friends that, I don't necessarily have to call you every day or every week, but I know that when I do call you, you know, it's gonna be it's gonna be a wonderful conversation,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be great to talk to you. So, Carl, I consider you in that group of my forever friends. So God bless
Wow.
you. Heaven smile upon you and give you peace.
Forever is a long time. That's how long I'll love you.
Come on now,
Jason Nelson.
Jason Nelson.
All right, let's get back to the interview before we get mushier.
Right.
How can people reach you? How can they follow you on social media? And how can they contact you? Wait a minute.
Uh,
I messed that question up. I said it all wrong. What did I type here? How can people contact you? How can they follow you on social media? And how can they get your music?
well, my music is on all digital platforms. You got the new release, I'm Saved. You got Never Turn Back, Dwell in the House, and Your Deliverance, as well as the Christmas Project. It's all on digital, all digital platforms. And social media, you can reach me on Facebook, Gregory G. Pearson
Gee.
Sr.
George.
All right, okay now. So let me come out with the name for you now. Gregory G. Pearson, as well as Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever they call it now.
Both of
Same
us need
thing.
to get on TikTok and do some TikTok videos. Not.
No, I'm just okay. I guess that's another thing you're gonna have to push me into, Carl.
We got to push each other because I'm not on there neither. I don't need another password.
I think if you let Corey Benjamin, he'll definitely push you into it. You know, that's another good brother that is just full of information about the music industry. Carl knows a lot. Carl, you're that way. You knows a lot about the music industry. But Corey Benjamin, he's just phenomenal. So
He is.
uh, I can't think of what he calls this his site. He has a website.
I can't remember what it is neither, but Courtney
Okay.
he's a great resource.
Yes.
And he's a great guy on top of that.
Great guy.
Great guy. Before we wrap up, Greg, speak to someone about how life can be sweet and their joy complete when they're saved.
Well, you know, God puts inner peace in you, um, and when you are saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, there's just a just contentment about yourself and letting God use you, lead you, and guide you, and never walking without God.
Mm.
Uh, I know for myself, there's been times where I didn't include God in any decision makings or any things that I've done, and it's just never turned out the way it should have been. And when I invited God back in to work to lead me and guide me, it just made a whole difference in the world. So being saved and trusting in God and letting Him be the Lord of your life will make your life sweeter and more complete.
Look at you. I'm going to send you a preacher's license.
Come on now.
So you be able to marry people. You know,
Dearly beloved.
we are gathered here today. Wasn't that Prince? One of his songs.
Yeah, right. I think we was listening to that the other day or something. It was something.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered.
Right.
I have enjoyed hanging out with my brother, my friend, my forever friend, Gregory G. Pearson. Guys, go out and get his new single, I'm Saved. Check out his catalog, Never Turn Back, Your Deliverance, dwell in the house. He has some great music out there. And pray that in this upcoming season, God will take Greg out of his comfort zone. Lift your hands high. Believe it. I'm speaking into your life, Gregory G. Pearson. God's going to do something miraculously once you sit down and start performing live. You might even have to jump off the organ and shout. Oh, I feel that in the spirit right now. Uh, I got to tell people I'm at that age now. I'm not going to run around the church. I might just jump up and raise my hands real quick. I'm sitting down because I'm tired.
Ain't no running around.
Again, I've enjoyed hanging out with my brother. I do want to close by
Likewise.
reminding everybody to remember to work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and do what, Greg? Dance like no
Dance like
one's
no one's watching.
watching you. Go on and do the dance, Greg. Do the dance. God bless until we meet again. Roll, roll, roll your boat. Have a good one, everybody.
The Carl B. Phillips Show is produced by Carl B. Phillips for Prove Me Productions. For more information about Carl B. Phillips, visit carlbphillips.com. Subscribe to The Carl B. Phillips Show on YouTube or your favorite podcast outlet.